Now to a terrible loss impacting our community. The Phoenix Police Department is mourning the loss of one of its own. That right there, Officer Paul Rutherford died in the line of duty yesterday, struck by a car while tending to someone involved in a different crash.
And flags outside the Maryvale precinct where he served now fly at half staff, honoring his life and, of course, his service. Officer Rutherford spent more than 22 years with the Phoenix Police Department. He leaves behind a wife and 2 grown children.
Joining us live in Studio 12A this morning, Phoenix Police Chief Jeri Williams. First of all, thank you so much for joining us, because
Thanks
I
all
can
for having us too.
only imagine how busy you guys are, especially right now. How's the department doing, and how do you keep morale, I don't know, somewhat in a positive direction after this kind of a loss?
So our department is broken.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing too is that our community is broken also. So when something like this happens, the community rallies, law enforcement, public safety rally together. I think the way to keep moving forward is, no matter what happens, our folks are still putting on blue uniforms, y'all, and going out answering calls for service. So we're just really trying to be there for each other. We have an employee assistance unit and mental health services for our officers and our families too. So it's been a tough 24 hours.
Yeah, and probably close relationships with a lot of the fellow officers in the department after two decades, more than 2 decades. What's the latest in the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident?
So it's been less than 24 hours since the accident. So the investigators are still working through the process of gathering details, gathering information, just trying to piece together what really happened out there.
When you look at something like this that happened, as a police officer, when you're going to respond to a car accident, and in this case it was what, a 17-year-old girl heading off to school, is it always in the back of your mind that something like this could happen to me? How do you not have that on your mind all the time?
So I know we have that in the back of our mind, but we can't have that stop us from doing our job.
Yeah.
So what Officer Rutherford was doing is he's trying to calm this 17-year-old when a priority 1 call for service comes out, and his partner, he was riding a 2-person unit, so his partner went to the call, and as we would all do, if we're riding with someone and have a partner officer or someone who's there by themselves, we would go, and that's exactly what Paul did. He was a career patrol officer. He could have promoted, he could have done different things, but he made the choice to remain as a first-line person, and we're just so thankful for his service and for his sacrifice.
How's his partner doing?
Yeah.
His entire squad, they were a very close-knit squad. They are just devastated, as is his family.
My goodness.
When you talk to the girl, the 17-year-old who was involved in the crash that Officer Rutherford was responding to, and you hear about how kind and how sweet he gave her a hug,
Yes.
you know, right before all of this happened. I mean, that's got to, number 1, make you proud as a chief to know that your officers are doing something like that.
Absolutely.
And number 2, just make this that much worse.
Right,
you know?
but he knew the dangers. We all know the dangers, but at the same time, he demonstrated compassion. He demonstrated professionalism. He's a true hero.
Lastly, Chief, what can drivers do to be mindful of law enforcement responding to accidents, responding to calls, being out on the road, being vulnerable to our distractions or anything that we're doing behind the wheel?
So we're just asking folks, when you see lights and you see us stopped on the road, just exercise some more caution.
Yeah.
Because again, he had one scene and he was addressing another one. Just exercise caution, no texting and driving, no calling. So we need our drivers out there to pay attention.
And in this case, the person who did hit Officer Rutherford stayed around, not impaired.
Absolutely.
But still, I think that even, you know, makes you look at this story and think this person wasn't impaired, but still something like this can happen.
Right.
We have to be so careful.
Absolutely. So when you're driving, I always tell our kids to keep your head on a swivel and really pay attention to what's going on the road.
Thank you so much for being in studio with us this morning.
All right, everyone, we'll be right back. Today, Nazia continues after this quick break.